In this particular video, I'm going to share my top 6 lessons after the last 6 years of trial and error in the markets. Now, hopefully this video is going to save you time. Hopefully it's going to save you a lot of energy and heartache and emotional swings. And hopefully it's going to save you a lot of money too. I reflected on my last 6 years and I went in and extracted the top lessons that I believe will offer the most value to you guys and girls. And hopefully you guys can stand on my shoulders and you don't need to learn these lessons through trial and error. You can learn them in foresight, you can implement them, and you can just progress your journey, make it quicker, make it better, those types of things. Now, for those of you first time checking into the channel, first and foremost, welcome. My name is Bailouni and I'm the founder of Master Your Trading Mindset, which is a performance coaching and education business. And we work with traders all around the world, helping them gain consistency and overcoming the psychological challenges that hold them back, and also helping them gain funding, those types of things. Now, if you don't already have a copy of our Bulletproof Your Mindset tool, jump in the description below. There's a free copy going out. I only let 30 copies out per week, so if you don't already have a copy, go in the description and claim yours right now. Now, when we talk about the 6 lessons that I've learned over the last 6 years of trial and error, the first lesson is sort of like the cornerstone lesson. And that is, you need to have strong routines and processes as a trader. The reason why I say this is because trading is quite a difficult game, or it can be quite a difficult game. If we have routines and processes in place, what that does is it allows us to take care of 80 to 90% of what trading actually is, and then we can dedicate to that last 10% all our energy and all our focus. And this is really what I've seen with the highest performing traders, is that a lot of what they do day to day is routine based. And they've got their processes, they've got their standard operating procedures, they know exactly what they're doing when they're waking up, they know exactly what they're doing just before they prepare for a session in the markets, they know exactly what they're doing before they place a trade, they know exactly what they're doing after they place a trade, they know exactly what they're doing when the market's closed. Everything's already laid out and prepared and planned. And this allows them to go in there and do what they would love to do, needs to get done, that type of stuff, to get it done. But then when it comes to crunch time, or adding a little bit of discretion in the market, or having to make what could be sometimes a little bit more of a difficult decision to make, because they haven't wasted a lot of their energy on the monotonous stuff, they have the energy, they have the focus to dedicate everything to making that wise decision in the moment. So having those routines, having those processes there allow you to reserve energy and focus for when it counts. And when it's not really that essential, you're in the routine, you're in the flow of things, and you're just getting done what needs to get done, and you're progressing every day as a trader. So lesson number 1 here is routines and processes are key. A few top tips here that I found very useful over the last 6 years. Google Calendar is essential. It's something I use every day. A software like Google Keep is another very useful software. I have it up on my computer right now, and that's where I use a lot of my notes. A notepad and pen is invaluable to plan your days and to prepare for your days. Using an organizer like Notion to have all your trading plan, all your ASR and your review and your processes in there is essential to organize everything. A Google Drive to organize files, all that type of stuff. These are all free software out there that you can use to get routines in place, get organized, get processes in place, to streamline your trading journey, and it becomes a lot easier. The second tip here is to become more systems based. I've worked now with hundreds of traders on a one-to-one basis and hundreds of traders in my 12-week challenge, and have consulted for education companies and prop firms. And I get to see a lot of the times what differentiates a good versus a not so good trader. And something that's very clear to me is that the very good traders have strong system-based processes in place. And they do what they can to learn and to study and to back test and to forward test to create a solid trading plan that's system based. They know exactly what their entries are. If I was to ask them, how do you get involved in the market? It would be a step-by-step explanation of how they do so, from higher time frame to lower time frame majority of the time. And then if I was to ask them, what's the last little thing you look for before you place an entry? They know it. because they know exactly what their entries look like. They know exactly what their management and exit looks like. They know exactly how much they're risking and where, and why they may switch up risk sometimes, and what their risk rules are. All these things are in a system that they've clearly outlined, and they know they have an edge there. They know where they have an edge in the market. Because if you think about it, the market's like an endless cycle of possibilities, an endless cycle of outcomes. You need to clearly define an edge or a system to be able to make decisions that are accurate and that are successful in the long run. And that's where having a clear system allows you to do that. So step number one is routines on point. Step number two here is you need to have a clearly outlined system, clearly outlined processes in terms of the way you go off and execute. The third little lesson here was having a vision beyond yourself. Now, if you just think about yourself and the outcome of your trading just for yourself, that's fine. But what tends to happen, what I tend to see when working with traders one-on-one, is once they accomplish something like a funded account, or they start to make $10,000 a month as a trader or as an investor, whatever it is, then what tends to happen is they start to lose the motivation and discipline and drive, and they tend to plateau. They tend to hit a wall there. And the first thing I get them to do is, all right, let's take a step back and let's expand your reason why and expand your vision behind your trading. If it's just for you, 10K may be enough per month to live a great life. And then because you've got the basic needs taken care of, a lot of that motivation, discipline withers away. So the exact exercise we go in and do is we expand their vision for their trading in terms of who they're doing it for. Instead of just doing it for themselves, maybe they expand it to some sort of cause, maybe they expand it to their family, maybe they expand it to helping other traders, helping other individuals about something they're inspired to share or inspired to do. And then instead of just thinking about month to month, how you're going to make bills for that month, we expand their vision in terms of time. What would you love to be doing in 5 years, 10 years, 25 years time? And what we're doing here is when we're expanding the vision and reason why behind the trading, a lot of the day-to-day actions are much more inspiring because you're working to a greater end cause. And that's the third lesson. I know when I look back through my trading journey, the times I was least inspired, the times I was least driven, the times I was least profitable, the times I was least, all those things that traders want to have and aspire to be, I had those the least when I didn't have a vision beyond myself and I didn't have an inspiring vision that I was working towards. And the moment I got clear of my inspiring vision, a lot of it now is this type of stuff, helping other traders, especially with the psychology and mindset side of things. The moment I got congruent with that, I started to build a lot of momentum in my life, and I'm very fulfilled day to day as well because of that. Because I believe I have a vision beyond myself, I have a vision beyond, the next 5 years. It goes way beyond that. And that's very inspiring to wake up to and work on every single day. So lesson 3 is expand your vision. Expand your vision. The fourth lesson here is learn to manage your emotions. It's crucial. It really is as a trader and even in just day-to-day life. The market can throw traders on swings and oscillations. And every trader knows this, that some weeks, some days they're doing incredibly well and they're riding on this just euphoric high. And then a few days later or a few weeks later, they go and experience the exact opposite of that, the depressing lows. And it's that cycle that burns traders out. It's the feeling really good and euphoric and then feeling really depressed and really bad that exhausts traders and ultimately burns them out to the point where they don't want to continue on with their careers. And what I've been teaching in the 12-week challenge, what I've been doing for the last few years with my one-on-one performance coaching clients, is teaching them the psychological principles that allow them to understand what's going on in their head and allow them to balance and manage their emotions. And being able to go in there and know what's happening in your head and identify specifically why you're having this particular emotion and have tools and processes to manage that. And then even prior to the position, learn to manage your expectations so you're not susceptible to those harsh emotions as feedback. That does a lot of things for your trading. Warren Buffett said it best when he said, don't expect to manage your money unless you can manage your emotions. If you're fearful, or if you're greedy in the market, you're guaranteed to make irrational, emotional-based decisions as opposed to decisions according to your plans, according to your routines. And what you'll probably find here is that all these 6 lessons tie together, because if you're highly emotional, you're not going to stick to your routines. You're not going to stick to your plan. You're not going to bother creating a vision beyond yourself because you're in that immediate gratifying, wanting to make things quickly and wanting to have a lot now. So by going in there and getting routines, getting your processes in place, expanding your vision, that also helps with your emotions and vice versa. And then learning to manage your emotions, you learn to think bigger and you learn to stick to your processes and routines. They all tie together. But learning to manage your emotions, the masterclass goes way beyond what I could share in this particular YouTube. If you're interested in that, the best place to go is the 12-week challenge. That's an education worthwhile for any trader, I believe. And in there I show you the principles on how specifically to manage your emotions, start with all my YouTube videos, then go into my Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. And then if you're ready for the next step there, join the 12-week challenge. There'll be a lot of value there. I'll teach you exactly how to manage your emotions there. Now, the 5th lesson I learned in the 6 years of trading is that you have to be continuously open and teachable and be on this never-ending pursuit of learning and wisdom and just learning as a trader. And recently I did a bit of study on the great philosophers and the great thinkers of civilization, whatever it may be, and a common theme to them is they were continuous learners. The most successful people I know are continuous learners. The most successful traders I know are continuous learners. There's a clear correlation between those who accomplish what they want to accomplish and people who learn and people who study. Now, you don't have to read a book. There are so many different mediums and resources now like YouTube. There's so many great resources on YouTube. There are audiobooks. There are different ways you can consume content. But one thing that's clear to me is that those who go off and accomplish what they love to accomplish, trading or in life, they're voracious learners. They love to learn. And that's the lesson here. I think it's incredibly important to have just a hunger for continuing to learn more and wanting to absorb more. Now, that doesn't mean that you change what you're doing because you've learned more, but it's also about having the proper filters in place and learning to distinguish what is useful information to take in versus not useful information to take in, because there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. So it's about learning to understand, all right, I've just learned this new piece of information. How can I filter through it to take the parts out of it that will work for me and leave what won't? And I think that the more and more you learn and the more and more you go through that cycle, the more and more you learn what is a great piece of information to take in. You learn to build your own internal filters. But if I was to give a suggestion on this, one thing that I found very useful is study the foundations, study the foundational principles, and understand the universal principles, and then that helps you build a great filter to go off and take information through and know what's right and what's not. So what I suggest to people, especially traders, is continue to learn and backtest and continue to study under different mentors and continue to read different books and continue to join different communities and take it all in, and then learn to put that through your filter and take out what works and disregard what doesn't. I think for the first 6 months or so, it's essential to build that foundation by just focusing on one particular strategy. But after you have that foundation, I think it's then wise to let in a little bit more of information and learn to filter through it and learn to apply what works and learn to disregard what doesn't. But it's that constant pursuit of wanting to learn more. What that tells you subconsciously is that I'm open, I'm teachable, the market's continuously evolving and you're continuously evolving with it. Because the alternative of this, and what I see very consistent with clients, is that once traders have a good winning period, 3 months, 6 months, they think they get it, they think they know it, and then lo and behold, the market evolves, the market changes, it moves slightly differently, or it reacts slightly differently to different prices. And this trader that thinks they know it, because they're so stagnant and so rigid, they don't evolve to how the market's evolving. And that's ultimately the pride that gets humbled in that individual, in that trader, and they don't continue to have great results. So one consistent thing I've seen is if you want consistent long-term results, continuous learning and being continuously open to taking more information is crucial. It's essential. And the sixth lesson that I've learned is probably quite relevant in my life now actually, is make lifelong friends in the journey as well. Trading can be a lonely game. This whole entrepreneurial pursuit can be a lonely game, but it doesn't need to. And I think it's incredibly important to tell people what you do, get yourself out there and talk to other people, right? Interact with different people and learn and understand and ask what do they do and learn to provide value to other people, that type of stuff. Especially in the trading space, you meet a lot of really great people and you meet lifelong friends and you have no idea how these relationships can develop and how they can grow and how they can flourish. But my sixth lesson here is don't be afraid to meet people. Don't be afraid to jump on calls or have a conversation about what they're working on and share some ideas and bounce ideas off each other. Because you have no idea how relationships can flourish. You have no idea what type of ideas or insights you can gain from people to selfishly, develop your own systems or develop your own life. And you have no idea what type of impact you can have on other people and how you can impact their trading, how you can impact their life. So the sixth lesson here is go off and make lifelong friends in the journey. I know for myself personally, if I'm being completely honest, I'd probably prefer to stay in my study all day and just work alone. And so coming from me, it's quite a big thing, but I truly believe that going off and meeting new people and developing these relationships has been one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my journey. And that's why I'm sharing it here as the sixth lesson. So the 6 lessons I learned over the last 6 years of trial and error. Build routines. Routines are key. This is for your trading. This is for your life in general. This is for morning routines, before bed routines. The second thing is build a system-based trading plan and have your process and have your systems there. Like a pilot, like a surgeon, you know exactly what you're doing next. Expand your vision beyond yourself. Think about how you can use your trading to provide value to other people, and think about how you can do that over a long period of time. And the fourth lesson here, learn to manage your emotions. It's crucial. Learning to reduce those oscillations will help you significantly lower the stress, the fear, the greed, and will significantly increase your consistency and profitability as a trader. The fifth lesson here, be on a journey of continuous learning and a pursuit of learning and a pursuit of expanding your awareness of what's going on in the world around you. And the sixth lesson here is make lifelong friends, talk to people, expand your relationships, those types of things.